Alright guys, because my video didn't upload with sound for some reason, I'm going to have to go back over this particular episode. So, how I'm going to do this is, I'm actually going to try something else out for once, and I'm going to voice over the episode post playing the game. And this actually might work out better, so I'm going to see how this goes, and then you guys can just comment and tell me which style you like better. And I'll try to do it that way next time. So if you guys like the way where I'm voicing over it post the game, rather than talking through the game as it goes, then yeah, just feel free to comment and I'll try to do the next episode like that. Yeah, this is my Jungleology show. It's going to be Skarner. And I know Skarner's not really like top level pick right now, a lot of people think, and he's kind of like a weird little niche pick. But I think he's not in as bad of a spot as people believe he is. And he also got like a little bit buffs to his E. Not really that big of a buff, but I think he's pretty good. So for my runes on him, I run armor yellows, magic resist per level blues, movement speed quints, and attack speed reds. The main reason I run attack speed reds is to proc my passive even more and to get my cooldowns even lower. And then for masteries, I run a 2190, which I'm going to show in a second here. Yeah. Yeah, I run a 2190 where I get dual of the AP and AD scaling abilities, and then I just skip over everything else in the tree. Like, I don't get any of the damage amplification to magic when using physical attacks or anything like that, because I don't really think that those are worth giving up the flat AP and flat AD scaling that you get on your Q. So, yep. And I think Skarner's really... he's like a niche pick. I'm trying to think about how to describe Skarner, because Skarner's like... He's like somebody you would pick when the enemy team doesn't really have a lot of mobility, and you can just pick people off with your ultimate, and your team can just instantly kill somebody. And I think for the team comp we have right here, it's actually not that bad, because we have Katarina, who once I grab somebody in and kill them, and she gets the reset on it, instant reset for Katarina, so that's going to be pretty nice. And also, the enemy team doesn't really have that much CC to stop me from grabbing somebody and pulling them my team. If I grab Riven, then the only CC they have that can really stop me is Leona. And that's not going to be enough to stop me from dragging Riven into our team and killing him. And Riven doesn't really have that much survivability. It's not like, oh, you got Skarner ulti, like, I'll just like try to survive it and make it out. It's like, no, the moment you ulti Riven, she's going to instantly die to your team. A lot of their damage on their team is from that Riven, so... in the team fights, I'm probably just going to be looking to kill her or the Caitlyn, kill their main damage sources, and then just probably peel for the rest of my team after that, or try to help Katarina get more resets. So of course, like when you're in the loading screen, you want to identify your best ways of winning the game and like how strong your lanes are and like good lanes to gank. And at least how I feel this game is the best way we have of winning this game. Like Lulu and Lucian, kind of hard to gank off their lane because they don't really have super hard CC or anything like that. They don't really have like an Annie stun or a Thresh hook or anything strong like that to set up early game ganks. So I'm not really going to go down in their lane that much. Katarina, really hard to gank off of her in the early game, especially as Skarner, because all I really have to offer is that 2.5 second slow. Katarina doesn't really have like too high a burst damage early on, and on top of that she doesn't have that much CC, so... main lane I'm going to try to gank is the Aatrox. Like, Aatrox, I feel if I get him snowballed, I have the highest chance of winning the game. Not only because he's the easiest lane to gank, because he has a knock-up and a slow, but because Aatrox is one of those champions where if you give him a little bit of edge, he will just run his lane over, and nobody on their team will be able to deal with him. Like, if I get Aatrox stronger than the Riven, or stronger than the Rumble, who are they going to send to stop the Aatrox from split pushing? And who are they going to send to deal with him? They have to send more than one person to kill him. And if I can set Aatrox up to do that and get strong enough to split push out like that, then I've done my job as a jungler. So my whole goal in the early game is going to be to get Aatrox big and get Aatrox fed. So just waiting to load in here. Gonna wait on that. Yo, do we have skin advantage? Let's see, we got Aatrox. Is that the Aatrox skin? Or is that the regular one? I think that's the skin, is it? Aatrox only has one skin. Hmm. No, that's the regular Aatrox skin. What am I talking about? We have Lucy who has a skin, Dragon Chain of Lua skin, I have a skin. They have Caitlyn's skin. I think we have skin advantage. Rumble has a skin. That's not the traditional Leona skin, is it? I can't really tell from here. Whatever. I'll say we have skin advantage. We should win this shit. GG. Scrubs. Alright, so when I play Skarner, I start the traditional machete plus 5 potions, and of course the regular trinket ward item. And I like to decide my path of where I'm going to start with Skarner, depending on where I want to gank her. And that's the same. That's true for every single jungler that is played. You need to plan out your jungle route before you even start. You need to plan out who you're going to gank before you even start your jungle route. So, because I want to gank Aatrox's lane, I want to get him snowballed. Like, what happens if I level 3 gank bottom? Probably not going to kill them. If I level 3 gank mid, probably not going to kill them. And on top of that, if Lee Sin shows up, he's probably going to fuck me up, because Lee Sin is pretty damn good at counter ganking Skarner, just with the way Skarner works. So what I want to do is I want to go into the jungle route that has the highest probability of working. So I think I can get the most definite kill on Rumble, and on top of that, if Lee Sin does decide to show up top to fight it, I think that with Aatrox, we can actually win the 2v2. So, yeah. I think that gives me the highest probability of progressing my team and getting us in the right place to win the game. So just gonna wait on minions to spawn. Gonna be chilling. Fun times waiting. So Lee Sin is like one of those junglers that really tries to take advantage of weak junglers like Skarner and abuse them. But I think with the Skarner rework, getting invaded by Lee Sin is not quite as bad as it was before. Because before what happened is Lee Sin would hit a kick on you, and then your W would go down, and you'd lose all of your attack speed from Skarner. And you would never be able to win a fight against him. But I think with the changes to where you get the attack speed on the Q, and you have a 2.5 second slow built into your E, which is from range, so you can do a little bit of kiting, I think Skarner has a much easier time scrapping it out with the Lee Sin. But nonetheless, you still need to be really careful when you're playing against a Lee Sin jungle, and that's why I choose to go buff to buff and not do any small camps in between. And on top of that, I'm going to ward the outside of the buff just to make sure that Lee Sin doesn't try to run up and steal it or anything like that. And also I pull blue back just to make sure Lee Sin can't get a Q on it. I have my smite down, but if the Lee Sin did red to my blue, his smite will also be down as well. So I feel pretty confident that I'll get this buff. So after you do the blue, just to hit level 3, you just do the white camp, and then you can start looking for ganks after that. Alright, and looks like the Aatrox is pushing the Riven up. I actually thought when I went into this game it was going to be Aatrox versus Rumble, but it turns out that it's Aatrox versus Riven, which is a little bit of a better matchup for... actually, I want to say how they did the lanes is not very good, because Katarina should do okay against Rumble if you play the lane right, and Aatrox can actually bully out Riven if you play it right as well, or if you pressure. So, the reason why I start going top here, rather than going to farm my jungle, is because I want to stay near top, because Aatrox is pushing top in, and I want to be there to help in case the Lee Sin comes up there to fuck with them. So this is like the big change of Skarner now, the E-slow. The E-slow has like really big range, and the Rumble fucked up on top of this, and he chose to flash really late. I think if the Rumble just didn't get greedy with his flash and he just flashed immediately, he would have been okay there. But he got greedy with the flash, ended up dying for it. I committed pretty hard to that and got out. And I chose to evade Lee Sin by going to the right. It may not be the shortest path back to my tower and the safe spot, but it's gonna get me as far away as possible from Lee Sin. So I think a lot of people need to look for more diverse escape paths when you're trying to get away from people. Because I like, let's say that was like a silver game, I think a lot of people would have just tried to run back to their tower and gotten caught by Lee Sin. Because for all I know, he could still have his ward up, and he could have ward jumped and kicked me. So it's always better just to be safe and distance yourself as far as possible from somebody. Yeah, and anyways, going back on the original point, why I was staying that top side of the jungle, because Aatrox has Riven pushed up. So if I need to put myself in the other jungler's shoes, if I'm the Lee Sin, I'm going to want to stop this Aatrox from pushing up, and I don't want him to snowball. So I'm just going to camp the shit out of him and like try to set up ganks with Riven, because it's really easy to set up ganks with Riven, who has a stun and multiple knockups and gap closers and things like that and high damage. Um, so we see Lee Sin bottom here. I end up pinging it and telling my team. It's a little bit too late. Didn't really see it either. But I have to take this opportunity to punish the Lee Sin. Rather than doing my own jungle after I see him bottom, I want to go counter jungle him and take all of his shit. And I want to take his race, I want to take his double golems, and I want to hurt him for showing himself on that side of the map. And on top of that, I also noticed that the Riven is not full health. So my next goal is going to be to get level 5 from doing the Wraiths, and it's to dive top, because I know we have enough burst damage to kill this Riven. So a lot of people would see this kill mid on Rumble who has no flash, and they would just go immediately for it. I feel like the Lee Sin is going to be heading mid, and it's going to be a 2v2 fight, and we could potentially lose it. So what I want to do is I want to go for the more guaranteed kill. And the more guaranteed kill is to dive that Riven. Like, I feel it's almost 100% that we can kill this Riven, and there's not going to be anything that's going to stop us from doing it. If I connect my abilities, that Riven is going to die, for sure. There's no way he's going to live. So I just go for the safer play, and we just end up killing the Riven. I hold my slow here because until the Riven uses their flash, because I don't want to risk missing it. Because if I shoot my E out, there's a travel time on it, and you could potentially flash the E and then maybe outplay us and like gain a lot of distance since I don't have flash up. So I choose to hold my skill shot and just ensure that I can hit it. So I also, here I noticed Lee Sin's level 4 and he's face checking in. Usually I wouldn't fight a Lee Sin as Skarner, but because I'm higher level and we have the jump on him, I decided to go on him and just Aatrox is there to follow up. It's just easy free kills. And I'm going to get level 6 off of this. I'm really light on mana, but I feel like we're strong enough to kill this Riven here. He's going to come back to the tower. I doubt that the Riven suspects that I'm going to be ganking again. Like, that'd be kind of messed up. But of course he wards, and for some reason he decides to go into the turret, which makes no sense to me. And I end up pulling Riven away from the turret so we don't take too many turret shots. And of course Aatrox still has his passive up. He did a really good job of tanking the turret to make sure that I didn't do it. I would have probably died if he didn't tank the turret. And we do a really good job of trading aggro. So now the Riven is completely fucked. She's out of the game. It's 7 minutes in the game. I have Ancient Golem, and I just need to use that lead to snowball the game. And to help do that, I need to get wards, and I need to get my buffs and then start warding up the enemy jungle. Because if you know where the enemy jungle is, it makes your job in laning a hell of a lot easier, because it turns laning into a 1v1 rather than, oh shit, the jungler could come up and kill me. If you're naturally stronger than the guy because I got snowballed you, if you know the Lee Sin is down there doing his wolf, so you can play aggressive as hell. So, yeah, I'm just going to get my buffs. Katarina is in the game for our mid laner, and we have Aatrox for a top laner, so neither of them really need blue, so I'm going to go ahead and take that from them, and just try to power farm out and get some extra gold and wait for my ultimate to come up. One really nice thing about Skarner is, of course, every time you auto attack, it takes a half a second off of your ultimate's cooldown, so clearing the jungle is actually pretty legitimate on him for getting in there and getting your ganks off sooner, because it's going to lower the cooldown of your ultimate. And another thing that people don't really, I don't think a lot of people realize this about Skarner, and it was overlooked in some of the patch changes, is when they did the rework on the Spirit Stone and the items that it builds out of, or like the Ancient Golem, the Elder Lizard, all that nonsense, you get back full mana and health, the full percentage when you do AoE. So if I AoE for like 500 damage on my Q, I'm going to get back a hell of a lot more mana and a hell of a lot more health now. So Skarner actually has almost no sustain problems. And that was one of Skarner's issues before, is you'd run out of mana almost instantly on Skarner. You'd be like, fuck. But now you don't really run into that. I go up top to try to help him because I think that Lee Sin's going to be like up here messing with him. But it turns out he's bottom. And I see here that Lee Sin, it's 8 minutes in the game. He has no red buff on him. He's going bottom. There's no way I can get bottom to help them out. There's nothing I can do to help out bottom right now. So I have to reciprocate by putting some type of pressure on the map or punishing him. And because I know he has no red buff on him, I decide to go top and take his red. And of course, I do kind of a bad job about it timing it in this game, just because like I feel like I'm so snowballed I don't really care. But I should time that 14 minutes. Buff spawn every 5 minutes. Yeah, but my ultimate's back up. I know the Riven's going to come back to her turret pretty soon. And yeah, I have my ultimate. She's level 6. I'm level 8. There's no way you can live through this. I make a mistake here by shooting my E too early, but I can just ult him out of the tower. Yeah, I kind of played this a little bit poorly. If I had held my E and saved it for when my ultimate hit, I would not have had to blow my flash there. So always good to be a little bit more cautious on your skill shots when you don't have to shoot them immediately. And yeah, I just feel like I'm naturally stronger than Lee Sin. I'm level 8, I have double buffs, he has literally nothing. So for some reason he tries to scrap it out with me because he sees me being low health, but none of that really matters. Like, double buff Skarner is a terror. You have a 2.5 second slow, huge attack speed boost, pretty big movement speed boost, and yeah, he's pretty damn strong when he has double buffs. Might not be as strong as he was before, but in a straight up scrap, he's pretty damn annoying. So once again, I need to buy more wards, and I'm going to get my pink ward and my green ward and get my sweeper, so just so I can vision control, so I can keep our team ahead and keep snowballing. In this game, I decided to build Ancient Golem and go for Triforce. There's two different build paths you can do on Skarner. You can go Ancient Golem into Triforce, or you can go Elder Lizard into full tank. And I basically decide that on how well I'm snowballing on Skarner. If I'm snowballing, I will always go for the Triforce, or for what our team needs. But generally, I think that the Ancient Golem Triforce is the best build on him, just because it gives him the best in-game options since you have Tenacity and you can get Ninja Tabby. So, yeah, the Leona ends up stunning me here, but I mean, a kill is a kill. Usually you want to ulti their carry, but just because I see the Leona's there, and she decides to dive in to stop us, might as well get that free kill and that free money. And it's important to get objectives off of this. So I ping for Dragon, but we don't really have too much mid pressure because Katarina's getting out-rotated by Rumble, so I just decided to be safe, not really do anything that could potentially throw our lead, like Dragon, and just go back to farming the jungle and getting my ultimate back up. Because Skarner actually heals quite a bit off doing the jungle. If you look, I have a shield, so it absorbs a little bit of the damage, and then I also have the passive from the Ancient Golem, which is just giving me quite a bit of health and building my ultimate a lot faster. Before, Skarner would have, like, he'd be probably out of mana after doing these two camps. But as you can see here, Skarner actually clears pretty quick. Doesn't really have that many mana issues anymore. I think the Spirit Stone changes to AoE and mana and all that really helped him out a lot. So, yeah, you guys remember I took his red at 8 minutes, so I want to be looking for that and are looking to pressure Dragon or are looking to help out bottom. Because at this point, Aatrox he's doing his own thing top. He's really strong now. I got him snowballed, I got him going, and nobody on their team can handle him. Like, this guy is really big. Like, he's running around with like 30% health and no passive, and he just doesn't give a shit because he wants people to come up top to like mess with him. So I had a plan in the early game. I carried it out. I got my top snowballed, and I just need to play the game off of that. I need to go down and get Dragon. I need to get this bot turret, and I need to just progress the game even more and get more gold. So I'm gonna get my red buff and just try to teeter that bottom over and get the turret and the Dragon. And also, if you see, like, all those wards that I've been putting in the river, and, like, the pink ward, like, I put that pink ward in the river brush, which Rumble ended up seeing and clearing, but because they have vision of him doing that, bot can play a lot safer, and they can snowball their lane without having to worry about Rumble coming down and killing them, just because they have better knowledge of it. I think people really don't realize how important wards are for when you're trying to snowball a lead. So, Skarner is actually not that bad for soloing Dragon now, just because you have persistent attack speed. Before, what would happen is Dragon would take your W off, and you would lose all your attack speed. But now, like, Skarner doesn't really have to worry about that. You can just keep queuing Dragon over and over again, and just keep maintaining that really high attack speed, even without your W on. So he's pretty nice for doing Dragon. And can't really help here. I don't want to go too aggro, but I'm going to be here in case they try to dive, and I'm just going to farm up. We got a lot off of that. While they were trying to converge on bottom and mess bottom and go for kills, we ended up getting 2 objectives. We got Dragon, and we got mid turret. So you don't always have to go like Rambo gung-ho when you're ahead, or look for kills when you have your Skarner ult. Sometimes it's just better to go for objectives and get that. Because like getting that tower and that Dragon, that's 2,000 global gold for our team. Whereas their team is just trying to go for 2 kills, which could be a maximum potential of 600 gold. So the gains versus risk and reward is just, yeah, it's dramatic. I think people a lot of times overlook objectives. Objectives are so important, and a lot of times they're a lot more important than kills. So I'm just gonna keep doing my jungle clear. I'm gonna clear it all out, get both my buffs. The Lee Sin hasn't really made any attempts to mess with my jungle that much. So I'm just gonna get both my buffs, hit level 11, and then just try to ward up their jungle a little bit more and get some vision in there. Because right now, we don't really have too much vision to the red side jungle, which is fine because Lee Sin keeps showing himself elsewhere on the map. But I think we really need to have some vision going in their jungle. Just because you can see like people are pressuring Aatrox really hard right now. And without vision in their jungle, we can't, yeah, you can't use that split pushing tool that we gained. So I feel pretty confident that we can catch them with Aatrox slow, my slow, and then like a flash ultimate. So I'm gonna commit to this fight. Rumble ends up ulting. He turns around for some strange reason, but what I was intending to do here, even though he did turn around straight into me and let me ult him, is I was gonna flash E, which is a 2.5 second slow with massive range, and then I was just going to catch up to him with that. Since I have tenacity, that their slow just don't really do too much to me, and I was just gonna ulti them off of that. So I guess Rumble felt like he was fucked, and he just pretty much gave me the free kill on that. And of course, whenever you get kills, you want to get objectives off of them. I see a lot of time people in lower brackets, they get kills and they don't do shit with it. They would have got those 2 kills and be like, all right, nice, like we got 2 kills, and then they would have just gone back to farming, or they would have gone back to base or something. It's always important to get objectives off of your kills. So we're gonna warding up the jungle. Now we have full vision of it, and we're just gonna use that vision to take over the map and just keep pressure and always see where their Lee Sin is. Like a mistake that a lot of people make as jungler when they're ahead is they'll just keep farming their own jungle. Well, what you need to do is you need to go into the enemy jungle, and since you're stronger than him and he can't beat you in a 1v1 fight, you can contest his jungle creeps, and you can starve him out of gold. While you get ahead, he'll get even further behind. Like those wraiths and double golems that you're taking from him, that's going to be gold that he can't get. He can't farm his jungle anymore. You may not be farming as efficiently as possible if you do that, but you're going to be denying him from farm, and you're going to be taking him out of the game. I think people have to take that into consideration a lot. Yeah, and I end up telling the Aatrox just to like not take this camp right here because I want to get my Triforce really badly, and I need both of these camps to do that. So, and I'm pretty confident that my team can just do whatever middle and mess them up. But I see Caitlyn pushing bottom here. I feel like she's going to keep pushing, so I go down there to try to either hold the wave or to try to kill her. But it turns out that she didn't keep pushing, so I just want to go clear out this wave, buy my Triforce, and then go help my team. Because it's 18-4, so I think the enemy team's a little bit scared to initiate on us at this point. So I'm just going to get this wave pushed all the way out, buy some stuff, and then be good to go. And yeah, the rest of my team is just like snowballing this and running this over. The bot lane did a really good job of evading ganks early on in the game, and Katarina, even though she did get like fucked up pretty hard early because she misplayed, all she has to do is follow up the team, follow up that fed Aatrox, and follow up the bot lane that is ahead on global gold from being. We got 2 turrets top, we got turret mid, we got turret bottom, we got dragon, so we're ahead a lot of global gold right now. Yep, so I'm just going to get Triforce, and then I'm going to start trying to build tank. I think Triforce is really the only DPS item you need on Skarner. I don't think you need to be that DPS oriented on him. He has pretty high base damage as it is, and Triforce is amazing on Skarner because Triforce is calculated off of your base damage, and Skarner actually has the highest base damage of the game next to Cho'Gath. They both have, I think, like 132 or something high. So Triforce is an amazing item on him. Just because the way the math works on it. So, all these people are chasing Aatrox around. I'm going to get my red buff and try to go help them, or try to murk somebody that's farming in their jungle. And I want to get vision in their jungle. I want to put wards down. I want to know what they're doing, so we can set up for stuff. So I'm going to go ahead for their jungle to try to pick somebody off, because I feel pretty confident that I can beat anybody right now in a 1v1 scrap, or even like a 1v2. So I'm going to head into their jungle and try to get some wards down. So for some reason, Riven, I guess, doesn't have any jumps up, and yeah, just like lets me walk up and ulti him, and he just ends up dying, and Katarina's trying to get the cleanup off this. Lulu should pick it up. Oh wait, never mind, I get it. GG, son. Alright, so they're all end up chasing our Lucian around. I don't have ulti anymore, but Lulu still has her ultimate, and I still have my 2.5 second slow, so I'm pretty confident in chasing them down and killing them. And on top of that, I also have red buff, so and Triforce movement speed. So the moment I hit him, it's gonna be done for them. They can never run from me again because my movement speed's so high. I had 520 before I killed him and 570 MS without that, so I'm running at a much faster speed and I can catch her so easily. So what we want to do now is we want to basically ward up Baron and just try to vision control it, and yeah, just end the game off of that. Like, we could two-man Baron with Aatrox. Aatrox can split push. We can look for a pick. Like, we have a lot of options at this point in the game. But I think I'm just going to try to get their blue buff because Skarner is a very mana-intensive champion. And then I'm going to just try to get a little bit more tank items and then close the game out like that. Yep. I haven't really been using my sweeper trinket that much this game just because, yeah, they're not really trying to leave their base that much. But I'm going to use it to, I guess, clear their vision outside of their base just so I have, like, better... They can't see us transitioning through there and catching us. Yeah, I think right now Aatrox and I and Lucian should be doing Baron, but they're just going to keep pressuring mid. I don't believe I have enough armor right now. I only have 125 to do Baron with the Lucian 2-man, so I'm going to want to go back and buy first and get pink wards and all that nonsense. So I'm just going to try to do that. Actually, oh yeah, never mind, we ended up fighting mid here. I lied. But yeah, I just wait right here. I wait for the Lee Sin to fully commit. I don't show myself until he fully commits, and then I just end up killing him off of that. And I still have my ultimate up after all this. Just end up cleaning everybody up. Skarner's E slow is like pretty ridiculous. One difference between Skarner on the new rework and Skarner in the old patch is that you're actually relevant when you don't have your E up or your ultimate up because your E is such a good slow. It's 2.5 seconds slow and is really massive range and really it's actually pretty good for hitting people now. Like, I think the E is undervalued on Skarner. I don't think it's like amazing or anything like that, but the duration of the slow for having 1 point and the width and speed of it and all that are really nice. So we're just going to end up ending the game off of this. If I were to finish this game, I'd probably have a Frozen Heart and a Banshees, and then whatever other tank item I needed, maybe Randuin's, probably a Randuin's, or a Thornmail or something along those lines. I probably wouldn't go into any more damage items just because Skarner's not really that type of champion that needs a lot of damage items. Like, you do massive damage without having anything, and you just the most annoying tank ever. Like, people cannot get you off of them just because of the nature of his kit. Like, even though E has a really long cooldown, you have to remember every time you auto attack somebody, it drops the cooldown on it by a second. So if you have max CDR, it's going to be around 8-second cooldown, I think, something like that. And then basically every time you auto attack them, it's going to go down by a second. So you can still permanently slow people with Skarner with max CDR and decent attack speed. But yep, that's the end of my show. It's been sponsored by Alienware. Don't forget to check them out. They got a bunch of really great laptops. They're a really amazing sponsor, and they make all this possible. Next week, I'll probably start doing these weekly rather than bi-weekly. And I'll probably do Kha'Zix with the R-Max next week, just because he's like so broken right now. And yeah. But yeah, if you guys like me doing the video this way better than just doing the voiceover naturally, like while I'm shooting the game, comment on the bottom of the video, and you can just tell me what you guys like better, and I'll just do it that way next time. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and bye-bye.